Dante Duca heard it before anyone else did. One careless sentence. One soft, breathy line that didn't belong in his world. "He's so hot." The hand around his crystal espresso cup stilled. The city stretched beyond his floor-to-ceiling windows, but the Manhattan skyline blurred. Phones rang, keyboards clicked, deals moved at their usual relentless pace, yet none of it touched him now. Only the sentence. About Nico Davis. His capo. Dante didn't blink. He kept his eyes forward, pretending to check the view, but his attention slid to the reflection in the glass. Aria Lewis, his secretary, stood just outside the doorway, frozen. Her cheeks were flushed. Her fingers pressed to her lips like she wished she could shove the words back into her mouth. And Nico? He was at the side table sipping black coffee, sleeves rolled, ink curled across his forearms. He glanced over, surprised, lifting a brow. "Excuse me," Nico said, half amused. Aria's eyes widened. I didn't mean to say that out loud." Dante set his cup down carefully. A muscle tightened in his jaw. No one saw the shift, but he felt it, clean, sharp jealousy and something darker threaded underneath, something he'd buried for a long time. She worked for him. Nico worked for him. That sentence shouldn't have existed between them. Yet there it was. And it wasn't going away. The first time Aria Lewis ruined her life, it happened at 8:43 a.m. on a Tuesday, with one sentence spoken too loud in a room far too dangerous. She had been standing at the coffee station right outside Dante's office. Her tablet wedged under her arm, hair falling loose from a low ponytail she kept adjusting, nerves already fried from Dante's 6 a.m. text demanding a 9 o'clock meeting sharp. She tried, really tried, not to stare at Nico. But Nico was impossible not to look at. Dark shirt, rolled sleeves, tattoos disappearing into fabric, black hair tied back, a few strands falling forward as he scrolled through something on his phone. Unbothered, completely unaware of how distracting he was. Her best friend at work, Maya, leaned in. "You're staring again." "I'm not," Aria whispered. "Absolutely staring." "Stop. He's so hot." The words slipped out louder than intended. Too loud. Maya's hand flew to her mouth. So did Aria's. The room went silent. Nico's thumb paused on his screen. He turned, green eyes amused and far too observant. Aria wanted the floor to open and swallow her whole. "I'm sorry," she blurted. "That was supposed to stay inside my head." Nico laughed, quiet, warm, dangerous in its charm. "That's a first. Usually people call me annoying." Maya snorted. Then the glass door to Dante's office opened. Every atom in Aria's body locked up. Dante Duca stepped out. One hand in his pocket. A real espresso cup, not a paper one, held in the other. Dark suit tailored to broad shoulders. White shirt open at the collar. No tie. Stubble framing a jaw sharp enough to cut. His eyes, deep, dark, unreadable, were the part most people feared. They weren't cold now. No. They were something far more dangerous. He had heard. He didn't look at Aria first. He looked straight at Nico. "Complimenting my staff this early?" Dante asked, voice even. Nico smirked. "Good morning to you too, boss." Then Dante's attention shifted, slowly, deliberately, to Aria. His gaze stopped on her flushed face. Pinned her there. "Is everything fine, Miss Lewis?" he asked. She swallowed. "Yes, Mr. Duca." "Good," he said. "Because I need you inside. We have a contract to review." He didn't wait to see if she followed. Maya squeezed Aria's arm. "I'm so sorry," she whispered before darting away. Nico watched Aria with an amused tilt of his head. "For what it's worth," he murmured, "you have good taste." Aria stared at him, mortified. "Please stop talking." He chuckled. "See you inside, sweetheart." The word hit her like a pulse. She took a breath, straightened her blouse, and walked into Dante's office. The door clicked shut behind her. Inside, the city glowed behind him, framed by towering windows. His desk sat perfectly organized except for a laptop, a few files, and the espresso cup he treated like a ritual. He didn't sit. "Sit," he said. She obeyed. A long moment passed. Then Dante finally turned. "Tell me something, Miss Lewis," he said. "Do you always discuss my capo's appearance in the middle of my office?" Her stomach plummeted. "I'm sorry, it was stupid, I didn't mean." "I'm sure it just came out." His voice stayed calm, controlled. Somehow that made it worse. "You work for me," he continued. "And Nico works for me. Next time you decide to praise someone's looks, remember who signs your paycheck." Her breath caught. "And remember," he added, eyes locked on hers, "I do not like distractions, especially when they are mine." One sentence. Sharp. Precise. Dangerous. A line she didn't understand yet, but he did. Aria didn't breathe until Dante turned away from her. Not because he was angry. He wasn't, not visibly. It was the opposite. He was too controlled. Too quiet. Too unreadable. She'd seen him furious before, seen him cold, seen him ruthless. But this was something else. Something still, heavy, simmering under the surface. She tried to focus on the contract he slid in front of her, but her hands trembled slightly. He noticed. He always noticed. 20 minutes, he said. "Mark anything that looks off." "Yes, sir." He didn't respond. He watched her for a beat longer than necessary, then turned to his laptop. Even then, she felt his attention on her, not visually, but like he could sense every breath she took. The room was too quiet. Her heartbeat was too loud. When she finally escaped back into the hallway, she exhaled like she'd been underwater. Nico leaned against the wall, still holding his coffee, still looking like he was 5 minutes away from flirting with trouble. "Boss give you the death stare?" he asked. "Multiple," she muttered. He smirked. "Don't worry. He yells at me every morning. Consider it a bonding experience." He didn't yell. Nico paused. "Oh, that's worse." Before she could ask what that meant, Dante stepped out of his office. "We're starting," he said. Aria straightened instinctively. Nico pushed off the wall and followed her into the conference room. The meeting with the Harper Group was supposed to be routine. It wasn't. Dante sat at the head of the table. Nico at his right. Aria at his left. Every time Nico leaned toward her side to read something, she heard Dante's foot tap once beneath the table. A small, controlled movement that didn't match his usual stillness. She kept her eyes on the screen, determined not to look distracted. "Miss Lewis," Dante said calmly. "Page 4. Section B." She highlighted it immediately. "Done." "Forward it to Nico." She sent it. Nico's phone buzzed a second later. "Yeah, this clause is trash," Nico said. "They're trying to slip in a hidden renewal." Dante's lips twitched, not into a smile, but close for him. "Of course they are." The Harper CEO joked lightly, "You two balance each other well. Nico's the charming one, and Mr. Duca here is the serious one." Nico laughed. Dante didn't. Aria tried to laugh to fill the awkwardness, but it came out small and stiff. By the end of the meeting, the CEO clapped Nico on the shoulder. "Impressive right-hand man, Duca. You're lucky." Dante nodded. "I choose my people carefully." His eyes flicked toward Aria for half a second. So fast no one else noticed. But she did. Her pulse stuttered. By lunchtime, the office rhythm returned, but Dante's didn't. He closed his office door and stood at the window again, watching the city like it held answers he didn't want to admit he needed. He should have brushed the comment off. He should have ignored it. He should have treated Aria's slip like a meaningless mistake. But he couldn't. Aria Lewis, the woman who remembered his schedule better than he did, who brought him coffee exactly the way he liked without asking, who reminded him about sunscreen before a rooftop meeting, who clicked her pen twice when she was nervous, who smiled at everyone except the people she feared disappointing, which, unfortunately, included him. He should have had better control over himself. He didn't. A soft knock broke his thoughts. "Come in." Aria stepped inside with a stack of papers. The Harper Group sent the updated draft. I printed the main changes. "Good. Leave them here." She approached the desk. He watched her walk, too close, too careful, too aware of him. She placed the papers down. Their hands almost brushed. Almost. "Anything else?" he asked, trying to sound indifferent. She hesitated. "About this morning." "We already discussed it," he said. "I know, but I wanted to say I respect this office." "And you?" "I didn't mean to be unprofessional." Dante looked at her. Really looked. Her voice steady. Her hands not. He didn't want her afraid of him. He wanted something else entirely. "You've been efficient," he said. "Organized. Reliable. You stay late without complaint. That is rare." Her shoulders relaxed slightly. "I don't want to replace you, Miss Lewis." Her breath left her quietly. "I'm glad to hear that." "Good. Then remember, focus is important." "You have it," she said softly. He doubted it. Not when she looked at Nico the way she did. The thought stung. As she turned to leave, he said her name. "Aria." She froze. He almost never used her first name. "Yes." "When I am in the office," Dante said, "I want you at your desk. Not at the coffee station. If you need a break, take it when I'm out." She blinked. "I was only there for a minute." "I noticed," he said. "I notice everything." Her cheeks flushed again, anger or embarrassment, he couldn't tell. "Yes, Mr. Duca," she said. She closed the door slightly harder than usual. He smirked despite the burn in his chest. At least she still had fire. He didn't want her losing that. He didn't want her anywhere near Nico either. And somewhere between that thought and the sting of jealousy he refused to name, Dante sat down and opened a new document. If Aria Lewis thought she could spend her time admiring his capo, she was about to learn how wrong she was. The announcement came at the end of the day. Dante called both Aria and Nico into his office, his expression calm enough to fool anyone who hadn't spent years watching danger move beneath the surface of his face. Aria sat stiffly. Nico lounged back like he owned the chair. Dante folded his hands on the desk. "Starting tomorrow," he said, "we're changing a few things." Aria's heartbeat stumbled. Nico raised a brow. "Aria," Dante continued, "you will no longer handle outside calls or general scheduling. Maya will take over that." Aria frowned. "Then, what will I do?" "You," Dante said, eyes locked on hers, "will work directly with me. Only with me. All my meetings. My files. My calls. My schedule. Everything." Her breath caught. Nico sat forward, instantly more alert. "So she's basically your shadow now?" Dante didn't look away from Aria. "You can call it that." A flush rose on her cheeks, soft, warm, confused. "Okay," she said slowly. "If that's what you need." "It is," Dante replied. His gaze hardened just slightly. "I need someone I trust. Someone who is not easily distracted." The jab landed clean. Aria's jaw tightened. I'm not easily distracted. Not when something matters, Dante murmured. For a moment, the air shifted. Not in temperature, something deeper. Even Nico felt it. He glanced between them like he'd walked into a private argument disguised as a meeting. Logan, Nico blinked. Sorry, Dante corrected smoothly. Force of habit. Nico. Nico smirked. I feel the love. You'll coordinate with her for anything needing immediate attention, Dante said, tone final. But nothing reaches me unless it goes through her. Nico whistled under his breath. She's really your shadow now. He turned toward Aria with a grin. Congrats, sweetheart. Hardest job in the building. Aria looked down, heart fluttering for reasons she didn't want to unpack. Any questions? Dante asked. Aria hesitated. Just one. Dante lifted a brow. What changed? You've never needed this level of control before. He could have told her the truth. Because I can't stand the thought of you looking at anyone else. Because one careless sentence made me want to fire my own capo. Because I want you close enough to hear you breathe. Instead he said, the business is growing. I don't like chaos. You help me avoid it. Not a lie. Not the full truth. She studied him like she was trying to read something he refused to show. Okay, she said quietly. Then I'll do my job. Nico stood. Try not to kill each other, he said as he headed out. Get out, Dante replied without heat. The door shut, and Dante and Aria were alone again. You start tomorrow, he said. She nodded. I'll be ready. He watched her as she walked out, his eyes following the swing of her ponytail, the small line at the back of her neck where tension always lived. She closed the door gently this time. Tomorrow she would be at his side all day. No coffee station. No wandering past Nico. No space between them at all. He told himself the arrangement was strategic. It wasn't. The next morning, Aria arrived 20 minutes early. Her nerves barely held together. Most of the night had been spent replaying Dante's words. You will work directly with me. Only with me. She sat at her desk, opened her calendar, and forced her breathing to calm. She didn't turn when she sensed him approaching. Good morning, Miss Lewis. Her pulse jumped anyway. She turned slowly. Dante stood there in a navy suit, jacket open, hair slightly tousled like wind had run fingers through it. His eyes dragged over her face, her blouse, her hands knotted around her travel mug. He wasn't checking her appearance. He was checking her state. Good morning, Mr. Duca, she said carefully. He lifted the leather folder in his hand. Come inside. She followed him into his office. The skyline glowed behind him, early sun catching on glass towers like scattered gold. She stopped near the chair. Before she could sit, he stepped closer. Too close. He reached out and took her mug from her hands. Looked at it. Then at her. You already had coffee. Yes. From now on, he said quietly, you take a break at 10. I don't want you jittery during morning briefings. She blinked. You're controlling my caffeine now? I'm controlling my office. She opened her mouth, but he continued. And you, his eyes dropped to her lips for a breath, are in my office. Her knees softened just enough that she sat down quickly. He moved behind his desk, opened the folder, and spoke as if nothing unusual had happened. You'll shadow me until noon. After lunch, call the Harper Group. She nodded, though her pulse was a sprint. And one more thing, Dante said. She looked up. No speaking to Nico unless I initiate it. Her jaw dropped. What? Why? We work in the same building. You work with me. And Nico can be distracting. She stared. Yesterday you said I'm not easily distracted. He didn't blink. You proved me wrong. Heat flared in her cheeks. That's not fair. I didn't prove anything. You said he was hot. She almost choked. I thought we were done bringing that up. I'm not. A knock. Nico. Of course. He walked in without hesitation, eyes flicking between them. Morning, sweetheart. Dante's head snapped up so sharply Aria felt the shift in the room. Nico continued casually. Boss, Peterson wants to move. Fine, Dante cut in. And I need your sign-off on the security rotation. Leave it. Nico set the file down. Then he looked at Aria again, gentler this time. You doing okay? I'm fine, she said too fast. Dante's jaw flexed. Good, Nico said, amused. If you need anything, yell. When he left, Dante exhaled slowly, as if holding himself on a tight leash. Aria folded her arms. See? That was normal workplace conversation. No, Dante said. That was Nico seeing how far he can push me before I break his legs. She stared. You think he's flirting with me? Silence. Dangerous silence. Are you jealous? She whispered. His eyes locked onto hers, dark, heated, unguarded. Too unguarded. He said nothing. He didn't need to. Aria spent the rest of the morning pretending she didn't feel Dante's attention on her every time she moved. The problem was, she felt it anyway. Whenever she shifted in her chair. Whenever she typed too fast. Whenever she adjusted her sleeves or tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. His gaze flicked up, sharp and assessing, like he was cataloging every tiny detail. It wasn't flirtation. It wasn't scolding. It was something far quieter, darker, harder to breathe around. Possessiveness in its first inhale. By 10, she stood to take her mandated break, something she'd never needed before, when Dante said without looking up, Where are you going? She froze. You said I could take a break at 10. I said you take your break at 10, he corrected. I didn't say you leave without telling me. Her eyebrows lifted. My mistake. Permission to step outside. He closed his laptop slowly, deliberately. Granted. She left before he could change his mind. The hallway felt like a different planet compared to the suffocating quiet of Dante's office. She let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. Maya appeared almost instantly, as if summoned out of thin air. Spill, Maya said. I saw him drag you into his office at 8 this morning. He didn't drag me. Aria, it's Dante Duca. He drags people even when he's standing still. Aria rubbed her temples. He wants me to work directly with him from now on. Maya's jaw dropped. As in, shadow him. His personal assistant. Basically. Maya stared at her, then whispered, You're dead. Aria groaned. Don't say that. No, seriously. That man is intense on a normal day. But lately, I don't know. More. Aria looked away. She knew exactly what Maya meant. Dante was more. More watching. More listening. More everywhere. Maya leaned in. Is this about Nico? Because I swear he looked like he wanted to stab him yesterday. Aria flushed. He's not jealous. Maya's expression said, Girl, please. Before Aria could defend herself, Nico turned the corner. Oh good, he said. I needed to borrow you. Aria stiffened. For what? Something quick. Boss wants me to cross-check the Harper security files. I need your access. Aria hesitated. Dante had said no speaking unless he initiated it. Nico noticed the hesitation and laughed softly. Relax. I'm not asking you to run away with me. Maya elbowed him. Stop teasing her. She's terrified enough. I'm not terrified, Aria muttered. You're adorable when you're lying, Nico said. She glared at both of them and followed Nico to the records room. Maya winked and ran off. The moment they stepped inside, Nico dropped his teasing tone. You okay? Aria blinked. Why does everyone keep asking me that? Because Dante's been weird. He lowered his voice. Even for Dante. She swallowed. Define weird. He's watching everything, Nico said. Your schedule. Your breaks. Who you talk to. How long you stand anywhere. Aria stared at him. Are you serious? Dead serious. He paused. Did you two fight? No. Flirt? No. Then what happened? She exhaled slowly. I accidentally said something yesterday. About you. His lips curved. Something nice. Don't make me repeat it. He laughed, warm and low. So that's why he's acting like a feral guard dog. She covered her face. Please stop talking. I'm not judging, he said. I'm just warning you. Dante plays nice until something he wants feels threatened. Her heartbeat stumbled. He doesn't want me. Nico leaned a shoulder against the wall, eyes gentling. Aria, you really don't see it. Before she could answer, footsteps approached, heavy, purposeful, unmistakable. Dante. Nico smirked. Showtime. The door opened. Dante's gaze swept the room, landing on Aria first. Not Nico. Never Nico. What are you doing here? Dante asked, voice low. Nico held up the file. You told me to check Harper's security notes. I told you to leave the file on my desk, Dante corrected. Not drag my assistant away from her post. She's not your assistant, Nico countered. She's her own person. The temperature dropped. Aria stepped between them. I was just helping. It's fine. Dante shifted his attention to her, the room narrowing around his stare. If you need to go anywhere, he said quietly, you tell me. Her breath hitched. I didn't think. I know, Dante murmured. Nico raised a brow. You hear yourself, boss? Stay out of it, Dante warned. Aria placed the file down. I should get back to work. Dante reached for her wrist, not forcefully, but deliberately, stopping her for a second. His voice dropped to something only she heard. You don't disappear on me again. Her pulse jumped. I wasn't disappearing. You were out of sight, he said. Same thing. She eased her hand away, breath shaky. Mr. Duca, this is starting to feel less like work and more like surveillance. A muscle moved in his jaw. Good, he said softly. Nico stared at them, disbelief and amusement mixing. Jesus, Dante. Dante didn't look away from her. Go to my office. She swallowed. Why? Because I said so. Something in his tone, quiet, intense, unyielding, pulled at her in ways she couldn't name. She walked past him. He watched every step. Nico let out a low whistle once she was gone. You're losing it, Nico said. Dante turned his head just enough to respond. I don't lose. But the flicker in his eyes told a different story. Aria didn't know what Dante expected when he told her to wait in his office, but whatever she imagined, it wasn't this. She stood near the window, arms folded, city glowing beneath her. The door clicked behind her. Dante entered without a word, closing it with a quiet finality that made her chest tighten. He didn't look at her at first. He removed his jacket, draped it over the chair, loosened the top button of his shirt. Small, deliberate movements. A man preparing for a conversation he didn't want to have, but wouldn't avoid. Only when everything in the room felt too still did he turn toward her. You didn't listen, he said. Aria blinked. Excuse me. I told you not to disappear. I didn't disappear, she said. I went to the records room for 5 minutes. With Nico. She exhaled. Dante. He stepped closer. Too close. You think I didn't hear what he said to you yesterday? He asked quietly. Her breath hitched. I apologized for. Not the compliment. He paused. The way he looked at you. She stared. Are you serious? Completely. Her frustration flared. I can't stop people from looking at me. You can stop entertaining it. That's not fair. It's reality. She shook her head. No. It's control. Control keeps you alive, he said. Alive? She repeated, stunned. Nico is your capo, not some threat. A long silence. Then Dante's jaw tightened, just slightly. You don't understand him the way I do. Then explain it, she challenged. He looked at her, really looked. Dark eyes. Quiet heartbreak. A storm behind restraint. I don't want him near you, he said. Her chest tightened. Why? He didn't answer. Not immediately. He walked past her, stopping at the window, staring down at the city like it would give him permission to say what he shouldn't. When he finally spoke, it was low. Because when you look at him, Dante said, I feel something I don't want to feel. Her heartbeat stumbled. She took a slow step toward him. Dante. He didn't move. I didn't mean to make things complicated, she said softly. You didn't, he murmured. You just made things visible. Another silence. The kind you feel, not here. You've been on edge since yesterday, she said. He lowered his head. I've been on edge long before that. Her breath caught. This wasn't the cold CEO. This wasn't the Mafia boss. This was something raw beneath armor. Talk to me, she whispered. He turned his head slightly, eyes finding hers through the reflection in the glass. That's the problem, he said. I don't talk. I act. Her pulse quickened. Then what are you going to do? Dante faced her fully. Step by step, he closed the distance until the space between them felt electric. Her back met the edge of the glass. Cool surface. Warm breath. He lifted a hand, slow, deliberate, and brushed a single strand of hair behind her ear. The touch was feather-light, restrained, devastating. Aria inhaled sharply. Dante's voice dropped to something barely audible. Tell me the truth, he said. When you look at him, do you feel anything? Her throat tightened. She tried to speak. No sound came. Aria, Dante murmured, don't lie to me. She exhaled, shaking. I don't know what I feel. I don't know what any of this is. His fingers slid down, barely grazing her jaw. Her skin lit up. And when you look at me, he asked. Her heart pounded so loud she swore he could hear it. I get confused, she whispered. He leaned in just enough that the air shifted between them. Good, he said softly. Her breath shuddered. You shouldn't poke at this, she said. Whatever it is. It's dangerous. He smiled, not warm, not cruel, something in between. Everything worth having is dangerous. Her knees nearly buckled. Before she could reply, a knock hit the door. Sharp. Urgent. Dante didn't step away immediately. He held her gaze. Held the moment. Then he moved back, slow and controlled, as if peeling himself away from something he wasn't ready to lose. Come in. Carver stepped inside, tension written across his face. We have a problem, he said. Harper Group's meeting just got compromised. Someone leaked the numbers. Dante didn't blink. Who? Carver's eyes flicked briefly to Aria. Dante's expression turned lethal. She's with me, he snapped. Say what you need to say. Carver swallowed. Nico might be involved. Aria's heart dropped. No, she said instinctively. Dante looked at her. Not anger. Not jealousy. Something colder. Sharper. Aria, he said quietly. Don't defend him. Not right now. Her voice trembled. You can't think he'd betray you. I think, Dante said, that everything changed the moment he realized he wasn't the only one you looked at. The room went still. Carver shifted nervously. Boss, what do you want to do? Dante didn't look away from her. We find out, he said. And she stays with me. No exceptions. Aria's breath caught. Dante, this isn't optional. His voice was steel. His eyes were fire. His control was gone. And Aria suddenly understood something terrifying. Dante Duca wasn't jealous anymore. He was choosing a side.